So what inspired me to be a pilot? Obviously my father did. You know, I grew up around aviation and fighter aviation, and my earliest memories are from out here at Kingsley Field, running around trappers, coming out to visit Dad, see him get out of airplanes and go to air shows. And that was my real first motivation to become a pilot. But as I reached high school and started to think about what I wanted to do with my life, that's when I really decided that flying was something that I wanted to do.
I owe that to my instructor, Wheels Wheeler. He's the one who told me, Rico, you're not good enough. Or he said Caesar, because Rico wasn't my call sign at that point, because you're not good enough. And that was the inspiration to push it up and get better. And then once I got to, start my fighter training, it's just been a joy ever since.
My flight chief at the time got a phone call from the hydraulic shop supervisor here, and was asking if anybody would be interested in a full-time job working Kingsley Field in the hydraulic shop. And since my wife and I just made that decision to get out of active duty, I thought it was a great opportunity to come down here, be close to family, and be able to work on 15s.
My father was a F-15 fighter pilot. He started out in the F-111 aardvark back in the 90s, and then when the Air Force retired those, he ended up flying the Eagle for the rest of his career.
I got to know some of the pilots in the SR-71 world, and that was pretty specialized, pretty interesting mission. And then getting back to Michigan, where I was an F-4 crew chief at the time, those guys, I just got to be friends with several of them, and they pushed me towards being a pilot. So it's a pretty interesting transition going from enlisted to officer, and then becoming, having to go through all the training of being a pilot. And it was a fun time, very challenging, a lot of fun, a lot of luck, a lot of good people pushing me along the way.
My father happened to be working at the Portland Air Base as a civilian employee as an electrician. His boss was a displaced Wizzo from the F-89 days when they got F-102s at Portland. There was no cockpit for him to fly in. He became chief of civil engineering. My dad told him about me. I guess what he told me is all the good stuff, what a dad would do. But the fact that I had a bachelor's degree in mathematics seemed to sell the deal for me. So I got hired without ever interviewing to go to navigator training and become a Wizzo in the backseat of the F-101.
Don't you worry, you'll find yourself. Follow your heart and nothing else. And you can do this, oh baby, if you try. All that I want from you, my son, is to be satisfied and be a simple kind of man. Won't you do this for me, son, if you can? So baby, be a simple man.
In July 1967, the Soviet Union reveals what appears to be a new superfighter, and it sets off alarm bells.
We currently have no fighter in our operational inventory that could consistently, if successfully, combat the Foxtrot. It is thought to have multiple air-to-air, long-range air-to-surface missile capability at a speed of Mach 3.
With the United States and Soviet Union locked in a struggle for air superiority, the Soviets seemed to be winning. Faced with the prospect of being outclassed in the skies, the United States would respond by engineering the greatest fighter jet in history.
So to counter that MiG-25, we started the Fighter X program, and its mission was to defend the homeland against Soviet bomber attacks. So we were training that during the late 80s, early 90s. We had that mission. However, the Soviet Union collapsed and the Cold War ended, and they began to phase out the F-16 ADF. So in 1994, the first one was retired, and again, they were beginning to phase that out. So it left a lot of uncertainty for that FTU, the F-16 ADF FTU mission.
Because our unit at Kingsley knew that our current mission, the F-16, was going away. It had been a modified F-15 just to support the air defense role around the country. The air defense mission had shrunk from 73 units on active air defense around the perimeter of the country to about 9 units around the perimeter of the country. And we had been involved in training specifically air defense task pilots in the F-16. And we knew that mission was going away. They're drawing down the air defense of the country, the F-16. It was the oldest model of F-16, the A and B Block 10s, and we knew our mission was going away. So we were headed over here to brief a full house audience that we were doing well. We now had, we were saved because we got a mission. We're on track to convert to the mission. The guy gets a phone call, and I can only hear one side of the phone call, and he goes, well, what am I supposed to tell these people that are gathered to hear the results of SATAF-2? And what do I tell the commander? Okay, sir, I'll do it. He hangs up and looks at me and says, the conversion has been canceled. I'm walking into an audience that's been on pins and needles for a better part of 2 years. We have a solution, we have a future, we got a mission, and all of a sudden the rug's pulled out from under us. And Major General Don Shepard walks out of his office en route to the bathroom and says, hey Billy, I've been wanting to talk to you. Could you meet me in my office in just a minute? Holy cow, I'm either gonna get fired or something good might happen here. So I go in his office and he says, General Ron Fogelman, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, has offered the Guard an F-15 training unit. Do you think Oregon would be interested in taking that mission at Kingsley? And I said, I am 100% sure Oregon would love to have that mission at Kingsley. But that's when it all happened, and within about 6 months, the first F-15s from New Orleans rolled in on the ramp. And we all knew it was really going to happen at that point. That was January of 1998.
Because you go from actually knowing what you're doing and being proficient at it to just to being a suck stick, basically. I mean, you're terrible at what you're doing. You don't, the switches aren't the same. Your hands aren't moving where they should be. And learning how to fly the F-15 the way you're supposed to fly it. You can't fly it like an F-16. So when I came as an F-16 pilot into the F-15, not very good at all. Takes a while. So it's a good transition. It's a humbling thing, which is always good for us to be humbled. But it was a good time.
The instructor pilots from early on, when we were transitioning our F-16 instructor pilots to be F-15 instructor pilots, and then as we started to build our cadre out of instructor pilots, we quickly became the premier training unit for the F-15. Tyndall Air Force Base was where all F-15 students went through at the time when we took it over, and very quickly the active duty Air Force, largely due to bringing in senior officers to Kingsley Field, Kingsley became the premier training unit. And then out of that, as they were deciding who was going to do the training as the aircraft numbers dwindled, they chose Kingsley Field.
It was a big day for us, and little did we know at the time that 27 years later we'd still be flying the Mighty Eagle.
To be one of the few F-15 pilots that our nation has had and the world has had, we wear a patch. It's called the Eagle Driver patch. And I heard it when I was a lieutenant. When you walk into a room with an Eagle Driver patch on, there's an aura about you. And I didn't really get it at the time, but you start walking into rooms with other fighter pilots, other major weapon system pilots, and they take note. They know because of the way that F-15 pilots carry themselves, because of the way that Eagle Drivers treat a brief and a debrief and treat the execution in the air. That legacy is tremendous.
To be able to fly the same jet and be a part of that legacy is a feeling that, unless you've flown it, you can't imagine. I'm incredibly thankful, and I feel humbled every time I strapped it into that jet, knowing that some of the jets that I've flown in flew in Desert Storm, flew in Kosovo, flew caps over cities after 9/11. I'm incredibly humbled by it, and I'm thankful for it every day.
The F-15 has been flying for more than 50 years. It has an amazing track record of over 107 victories to none. But when you really think about those numbers, the first thing that comes to mind is all the men and women that we've lost who flew the F-15.
I had been able to be a part of saving the unit. So the F-15 or any other airplane would have been a great success for me. But to fly at the time the world's best fighter airplane that had ever been built was amazing. Very few people got to do it.
And then when you start to think about the legacy, the greatness of the F-15, you start to really see, as I would say, that you see the fingerprints of everybody who's touching the mission, from ops to maintenance, from mission support to security forces to community partners. Everybody's fingers are on that mission, and that's what ultimately makes the F-15 that impressive. You just can't do it without everybody being all in.
It was a love-hate relationship to work on the F-15. You loved the jet. It was awesome to work on. It was a lot of fun. But there is a lot of hard things that we had to do. There's a lot of tight spaces. Phases were extremely busy and hard to work on, getting all the bad lines out of the jet, everything that has been bad, broken, that we needed to fix. That was part of the hate relationship, busting your knuckles, and there's a lot of blood left in those jets from a lot of these guys and me over the years. But the jet itself to work on was fantastic. It was fun, and you actually got a big sense of accomplishment of getting that thing to fly and getting it to do its mission.
From the front gate to the flight line and beyond, we just do it better. Our hospitality here, our training syllabus here, our personnel, and every other function of this installation makes Kingsley Field the premier training unit in the United States Air Force and in the world, quite frankly.
The fact that we had gained notoriety in the Guard world as being some of the best maintainers on the planet, certainly in the Air Guard and certainly within the Air Force, was a very great thing and that was a very big help in us getting where we got, was all those people that every day made the thing fly and fly better than all the other organizations in the world could make it fly.
The most precious gift we will ever hold is our existence. And it's made even more sacred by the fleeting time we're given to pour into the people, the missions, and the callings that shape our lives. And among all the things we could choose to devote that time to, few legacies have risen to that level of what have been built within the Eagle community. The hours spent with those who wear this patch, uphold this standard, and trust their lives to the F-15, they have created a lineage of excellence that stands unmatched in human history. What we do here is more than service. It is a noble effort that has shaped the success of generations. Think about that. How it strengthened our nation and safeguarded peace across the free world. The eagle itself carries an indelible mark. It's etched into the story of America, not as a machine, but as a symbol of resolve, discipline, and courage, and the relentless pursuit of victory. And to be a part of that story, even just for a moment, it's one of the greatest honors any of us will ever know. And the eagle didn't just teach us how to be great. It taught us the responsibility to remain great. The good ones do it until they get it right. But the eagle taught us to do it right until we can't get it wrong. That is the difference between excellence and mastery, the difference between participation and legacy, and the difference between trying and becoming. And there's an old quote that I remember, and it's by Winston Churchill, who he once said, "To each there comes in their lifetime a special moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered a chance to do a very special thing. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared or unqualified." So looking back, what does that mean for us here, specifically to the eagle? The eagle ensured we were never unprepared, never unqualified, and never anything less than ready to rise to the moment.
All right, everybody, one last message, please. Bear with me as I get through this. Thank you for the privilege of flying the F-15 at Kingsley Field for 27 unforgettable years. No one has ever flew the Eagle alone. And to the airmen of the 173rd Fighter Wing, past and present, you are the heart of every mission. From those on the flight line to those working quietly behind the scenes, you turn dedication and sacrifice into trust, excellence, and combat power. To our families in the Klamath Falls community, thank you for standing with us through every long day, late night, and all of our homecomings. Your support made this mission possible and gave meaning to everything we did. And although this is truly a goodbye, it is not an ending. The F-15 Eagle was more than an aircraft. It was a standard that shapes who we are and what we demand of ourselves. Its legacy will always remain at Kingsley Field, paving the way for our future in the F-35. The Eagle may no longer fly here, but in spirit, lessons, and pride.